motto of the Pakistan Army is faith, discipline and jihad in the name of God. So it is a jihadi army anyway.
It's very clear that the current American establishment has declared us enemy number one. Now you can hide behind it, you can try and
That's a very strong
cover
statement.
it. What else is it, yaar?
The interview begins by saying that the overseas Pakistani said that he's a victor for all Muslims, having defeated a kuffar nation after centuries.
My heart sort of, if you say a few more words, I'll start crying here.
There's a new word apparently in the dictionary, delulu.
You're wishing a country for independence and then you say including critical minerals and hydrocarbons and phosphate. Why?
If they have so many hydrocarbons and critical minerals that the Americans are salivating at their mouth to grab all of this, how come the Chinese, who have so much influence inside Pakistan, have not made a pitch for it?
If India is to counter a person like Hina Khar or the others who go on these American networks and all that,
When you have to engage with a ecosystem which is so anti-you, it has to be done at university level, it has to be done in colleges, students going abroad, it has to be politicians, ministry, embassies, people who are working there. If you want to do it, then you have to do 1, 2, 3. You can't, हाँ कर लेंगे, एक को delegation भेज दो.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching or listening to another edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. My guests today are Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow ORF and one of the most popular commentators on social media and traditional media. Tilak Devesha, author and former member National Security Advisory Board, an expert on everything Pakistan. The podcast centers around a recent interaction that General Asim Munir had in Brussels with overseas Pakistanis. It was reported by journalist Suhail Warech of the Daily Jung. General Asim Munir, yes, it's perfectly fine to refer to a field marshal as a general. A field marshal is a ceremonial title, whereas he is the Chief of Army Staff of Pakistan, a general. So as I was saying, General Asim Munir met with overseas Pakistanis in Brussels where they gushed over him. One person even kissed his hand, welcoming him as a victor, paying him tributes for the victory of a Muslim country soldier over a Kafir nation after centuries. There are more gems in this interview, but first, let's get the views of the experts on this panel. But here's a friendly reminder, I am in the room and these are my guests. So my views are also part of the show and the guests are mine, the show is mine. So I humbly submit that if you are here, you're here for the three of us. Thank you, Sushant. Thank you, Tilak. Thank you so much for coming at short notice for this, discussion on the interaction that Asim Munir had with overseas Pakistanis, and with the article is out in Jung. So I want to discuss what Field Marshal Asim Munir said. I'll ask you both about what your take.
Self-styled field marshal.
Self-styled Field Marshal. And it's okay to call a Field Marshal a general, so I'm going to refer to him as Asim Munir or General Munir. He spoke
But don't
to
call him
these...
Field Marshal General Munir.
Nahin,
A lot of
obviously.
people are making this
Most
mistake.
Pakistanis say this. General Field Marshal Munir.
Hi. Please, no. Field Marshal Asim Munir. The interview begins by saying that the overseas Pakistani said that he's a victor for all Muslims, having defeated a kuffar nation after centuries. And let me ask about this. How do you feel about this? About overseas Pakistanis kissing his hand and saying, you have...
This is all stage managed. The entire thing is stage managed. Why would somebody sitting in Brussels, do this kind of fawning? These are all staged people who are brought there and to do this. He didn't win. Pakistan didn't win anything. As it is now coming out and more details, the thing, to kufr, they are still harking back 800 years. They still think that, they are on horsemen with, and that also, unke apne heroes to hain nahi na. They're all Afghans, or Turks. What hero did Pakistan produce?
But if their heroes were Turks, and actually, see, most of the overseas Pakistanis, especially the ones in Europe, were basically toilet cleaners who went out there. Some of them made some shops or something. Most of them live on dole, especially in Britain. They don't do any work. They just procreate and that is their revenue stream. But and I'm not joking. This is a fact. Or they're criminals. But the thing is that they don't remember their own history of the last 100 years. There was a Muslim nation which had defeated an infidel nation, which was Turkey. Turkey under Ataturk had defeated the other powers.
So it's not centuries,
So
but
it's not centuries.
But they
It's
think-
about 100 years, and even subsequently there have been some struggles and battles. But Pakistanis themselves say that they've defeated India in every war.
that's what I'm saying.
So if they've defeated
doesn't
India in
matter.
every war, how come after so many centuries Asim Munir has defeated India?
One thing can be the truth. Both can't be.
Both are false.
Both are false.
Okay.
But the fact is that there's a new word apparently in the dictionary, delulu.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is delulu.
So it's delusion beyond delusion. It's delulu. Now, you're saying it's stage managed. Remember Pahalgam ke pehle bhi, before the Pahalgam attack, there was another interaction that he had with overseas Pakistanis, but this time they had arrived in Pakistan and he was lecturing them and speaking to them. Now, this article by Jung, obviously he's like very enamored by the whole show that was put up, where all these guys are fawning over Asim Munir, and Asim Munir is not impacted. He's taking selfies and photographs with all of them. Somehow those photographs have not yet come out in the social media, but apparently he took pictures with all of them. And in this interview...
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
How could he have taken pictures? Because everybody says that nobody is allowed to take any electronic equipment inside. So who was taking the pictures?
Good question.
Right?
Huh.
So the problem with the Pakistanis is they are so steeped in lies, and they lie so much that they don't even, nakal ke liye bhi akal chahiye hai. They don't have it.
So he shook hands with everybody apparently, and when he said कि आप थक नहीं जाएंगे, he says कहाँ दूर दूर से आए हैं. I'm shaking hands with them.
Very
This very
modest.
magnanimous kind
And
of.
modest.
My heart sort of. If you say a few more words, I'll start crying here.
हाँ, इतना emotionally करना होगा interview को starting में. So in this interview, he says, he's quoted as saying, Asim Munir says, God has made me the protector of the country. I am a soldier and my greatest desire is martyrdom. So God has made me, like, now there's a God complex कि भगवान ने मेरे को ये दिया हुआ है काम करने को. Allah has sent me.
यार सी भगवान ने मुझे एक एनालिस्ट बनाया है. God has made him a former operative. So God has made everybody everything, right? According to them. But look, one is a God complex. But if he is so interested in martyrdom, why was he hiding in a bunker?
Unverified hai Sushant again.
Okay, so why wasn't he on the front lines? Why didn't he strap a missile around himself or himself around a missile and land in Delhi to attain martyrdom?
And that's the crazy thing. He's awarded himself this gallantry award
For
which
doing
was
nothing.
given for action, which was given for a military action. If you read the thing, he was given for all the activities that he did from 26th April to 10th May. That is like distinguished service or something like that. It's not a gallantry award, but he's given himself the equivalent of a Mahavir Chakra.
But did Musharraf and the earlier chiefs of army staff of Pakistan
Not
ever
gallantry.
say that God has made me what I am?
No,
Like God ne bola hai ki India ko attack karo. I don't remember.
I don't recall.
I don't recall
But
any
his
of
is
them.
so transparently false, to get martyrdom. So everybody wants martyrdom. They all want to be shaheed. Or if they win, they
Benazir
Ghazi.
also used to have this Shaheed complex.
They
That,
all say it,
Huh.
but the moment, if they are so keen on becoming shaheeds, why don't they travel without security? Right. So this is a load of nonsense, right? But the fact of the matter remains that he is also somebody who has a jihadized mindset. Please remember, Mr. Deveshwar would probably bear me out on this. For very long in the Indian security establishment, in the military, in the intelligence services, foreign office, there has been this thing that there will be a time when all those officers who were recruited during the Zia years, when the transformation in the Pakistan army from a quasi-Islamist army to a fully Islamist army had taken place. Now, Bajwa was technically the first army chief. But Bajwa was commissioned in around 1980 when it was still a transition happening. This guy was commissioned in 86. By when that Islamist thing in the Pakistan army had become part of the curriculum, had become part of the indoctrination of the officers.
Right.
So he is the first army chief of what these guys normally call the Zia Bharti. And I suspect that you're going to see more and more of this as you go forward.
Next 10 years at least. Next 10 years.
Completely radicalized.
But even after that, sir, they
It'll,
haven't.
it'll gradually taper off. But this guy is a peculiar
Why would
case.
it taper off?
Because after Zia was replaced by Aslam Beg and other chiefs who came were less of that
Radical. Okay.
mindset that Zia was.
Okay.
So it will taper off. It will remain.
Huh.
The influence will remain. But
But sir,
it'll
apart
taper.
from,
The Zia period of 10 years was very intense. Tablighi Jamaat coming to the cantonments and all kinds of slogans written, and people were told that your CRs depend on the length of your beard. So that kind of a mindset was virulent during the Zia period.
Okay.
but it didn't
Even
change.
for a Fauji? The length of beard for a
Yeah,
Fauji
yeah, yeah.
also?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whether you were observing rosas, all of that. Whether you were attending the Friday prayers, stuff like that.
And how
All
many
of
people
that.
went to the Tablighi Jamaat Ijtema and things like that, It was very, very strictly observed.
So he's a product of that.
He's a product of that. And then he is a Hafiz of Quran to boot. So he is
and
one step
belongs
ahead.
to, and his father himself is
Yeah.
a cleric.
So explain that to me. What does it mean?
So that means he has learned to memorize the Quran by heart. So at every drop of a hat, you find that he is dropping stuff. The
Quranic verses.
Yeah. Riyasat-e-Tayyibah, which he mentioned in the April thing. Then the name of this operation, which people found it so difficult to pronounce.
Yeah.
Bunyan
And it's out.
Mahsus.
Yeah, it's out of the Quran.
Yeah. So all these kinds of things, he is now giving, trying to show.
Why doesn't he name his army also Lashkar-e-Taiba?
Huh, might as well.
Might as well. Because
Yeah.
if it's Riyasat-e-Taiba,
Soldiers of
then
God,
Lashkar-e-Taiba.
supposedly.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? But, so that's why you come back to what people were saying out there, ki, victory over the kuffars. So it's become a kind of a dharmic war, a religious war, that you're having, where it's Islam versus Hindu state. Because every politician there is saying the same thing, that Modi is a Hindutva guy, he's going to demonize the Muslims in the country and then, wipe out Islam from here. So they take it upon themselves to become the protectors of Muslims who have been left behind in India. So it becomes a religious war.
So like jihad, see the jihadis, Tanzim say it openly.
Correct.
And the motto of the Pakistan army after Zia, jihad for Sabilillah, jihad in the name of God. So that is all par for the course as far as the army is concerned.
But that's for the parallel army, right? Not for the...
No, the motto of the Pakistan army. Motto of the Pakistan army is faith, discipline and jihad in the name of God. Zia changed this. Instead of Jinnah's unity, faith, discipline, he brought in this jihad thing. So it is the jihadi army anyway. That is their motto, that is their slogan.
Okay.
But please also remember that they have presented every conflict with India as a conflict of Islam versus Kufr. So whether it was the 1965 war, even 48, right? 1965, what was Ayub Khan saying to all his soldiers? That one Muslim is equal to 10 Hindus, that this is a war against the infidels, stuff like that. What was Bhutto? Bhutto was also an Islamist. Now, you see, our problem is that when we look at a Pakistani and we see him wearing a nice western cut suit, we think he must be a normal guy. He's not. That's just, a put on thing. Or you see a Shari Rahman or Hina Rabbani
Imran Khan.
nice clipped accent. Imran Khan.
Imran
Well,
Khan.
Imran Khan was very openly and avowedly
Taliban
a
Khan.
born-again Muslim. But all these others, who pretend that they're very liberal, moderate, progressive, they're not. They keep slaves in their farms in South Punjab. So, but I'm saying that every single conflict and even a cricket match is presented as a war of Islam versus non-Islam. So they win a cricket match and they say that we congratulate all the Muslims of the world. 90% or
Yeah, he's a
99% of the
Shahid
Muslims don't give a
Afridi.
damn about a cricket
Yeah.
match anyways, right? Nobody in Arabia or in the Arab world or even in Southeast Asia watches cricket. So the point is that they have this, again, Delulu. So what do you do about
So,
it?
you know, when India attacked Pakistan during Operation Sindoor, it was not a religious thing. We were not attacking, or India was not attacking religious places, right? It was attacking terrorist places. So, for India, it was a war on terror.
Yeah.
The India goal, which was the terror factories, so attack that. It was not to attack a mosque or to attack a seminary or whatever, a madrasa where terrorists were being trained. No, it was to attack terror centers. When the response came, then India attacked the military targets the second time
Yeah.
that it happened. But it's still viewed by Pakistan. So, regardless of what India does, it will always be a religious war for Pakistan.
That's the
Am
only
I
way
right?
they can motivate people.
Okay.
You see, to get people together, get that Josh, that Jazba going. Okay, this is the command that was given to us. And this is exactly what we are doing. You know, it is for that. They can't fight or they can't say something on a secular basis
Huh.
that we are attacking India to, take revenge. Revenge for what? So this religious element will always be there in anything and everything that Pakistan does.
Plus, there was a narrative thing. See, they can't say that India attacked terror centers. So, what did they say? That India attacked mosques and madrasas and civilians. Okay, because this is how they are going to justify their retaliation against India.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
So one was what Mr. Deveshwar is saying, but alongside it, in parallel, was this, that you cannot say that India was attacking terror centers. We say that Bahawalpur or Muridke or the places in Kotli and other places that we struck, those 9 camps, these are terrorist training camps. Now the thing is that some of the Western media, and most of the Western media has these Pakistani handlers, or these guys who are stringing for these Western media houses. Now they go and they show a board outside. अब इनके दफ्तर के बाहर ये तो नहीं लिखा होगा ना कि ये रा का दफ्तर है, right?
Yeah.
There'll be no board.
Yeah.
Or there will be some nice innocuous board that agriculture or fisheries department or something like that. Okay.
Public Works Department.
Public Works Department, something, or education or something like that, where nobody wants to go anyways, right? The thing is that they will show a board like that outside some of these camps that were hit, which said that this is a social service center or a social something. You don't take it at face value. There was something else happening inside
Insidious
that damn
happening there.
place,
Yes.
right? And quite clearly, so they were trying to pretend that these targets that were hit by the Indians, we had just targeted civilians and wantonly killed some civilians.
But
These
nobody
innocent
bought
people.
that.
Nobody buys that.
Nobody
Everybody
buys
knows
it,
what
but
Muridke was. Everybody knows Bahawalpur. So, nobody buys it. But, they have to put on this facade. Put on this facade.
But
this
they took
justification.
the foreign media, and the foreign media was stationed in Islamabad. Unko sabko le gaye. And the foreign media seems to lap up everything that Islamabad has to say. I'll get into the media part later. Let's first do this, do the article first. He hasn't, Asim Munir hasn't given interviews. Unlike General Musharraf, who used to love speaking to the media and all. He's not done that. He's not given an interview. This is also doesn't seem like a formal sit-down interview, one-on-one interview. More like an interaction that happened. But there are Pakistani commentators who are wondering whether this is a kind of a soft launch of Asim Munir into maybe, stage a soft coup, maybe get into a civilian position, president ban jayega, ya fir whatever. What do you see?
You see, in this case, even the journalist Sohail Baraj, he words it very, very sophisticatedly. From the stage, he talks about it was actually an event which he was addressing. Now, as you rightly said, whether he sat aside with him and did the one-on-one interview, because the questions and answers are pretty wishy-washy.
Yeah.
It's not a definitive kind of an interview which a journalist is doing with somebody.
But he claims it was an interview later, which was given to him exclusively. And
But
in the
or he's
Urdu
derived
version,
the interview from the questions or from the event.
no, but in the Urdu version, he says, I asked him some very tough questions,
Rough, he mentioned.
rough questions or tough questions.
yeah.
But in the article, there are no questions
Yeah, so he has presented it not
As-
as a
huh.
Q&A,
as an event.
but yeah, as an interaction that I was, sitting and I was talking, and this is what all we spoke about.
Huh.
But he claims that the questions that he had put to him, some of them were really tough or rough or whatever you khurdare sawal. He says that. Okay, the thing is that it doesn't seem from the responses. It seems like a very softball kind of an interview that
Yeah.
here is a full toss, hit it for a six.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing.
So and he also mentions about Afghanistan, where he says that he warns India that don't we, he said Pakistan would avenge the blood of every Pakistani, and then India should be careful and not use Afghans as proxies. It's not a new thing which Pakistanis are saying. They've been saying this for years. Do you see anything else in this? Do you see?
No, he says he warns the Afghans about TTP, the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan. He also mentions that. They've been warning the Taliban for years. Barring the first 6 months
No, but
after,
he's also warning India that don't use Afghans as proxies.
Yeah. See, with India, the thing is, they have to find some excuse for not being able to deal with the Baloch or with the TTP.
Yeah, the safest thing to do is to blame it on
Same
India.
thing is कि ये बाहर से उनको मदद मिल रही है.
And what they're
Bairuni
doing is-
conspiracy,
Huh.
that kind of a thing.
Huh.
The statistics, if you say, of this Global Terrorism Index 2025, there are about 57 security personnel being killed every month. 57. Can you imagine that level of attrition?
And where is this happening?
In Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa?
I think it's more. If you look at the figures being put out by the Baloch independence groups
Yeah.
and by the TTP
it's
itself,
much more.
and TTP is only one part of it.
Yeah.
There are these other
groups, yeah.
Islamist groups which are fighting out there. But see, the interesting thing is, this same fellow, Munir, has said it earlier publicly, that for me, the life of one Pakistani is more precious than the life of all Afghans. Something to that effect. There was a huge reaction inside Afghanistan that, you don't say stuff like this.
Yeah.
One. Secondly, these guys, when they blame India, and what do they say? That the funding is going from India. But just yesterday, Maulana Fazlur Rahman says that, look, they are taking a 10% cut. The TTP and other guys, the militants in KP, are taking a 10% cut from every government contract, which means it's not the Indian taxpayer who's funding the TTP, it's the Pakistani taxpayer who's funding the TTP. So how are they blaming us?
It's only an excuse. It's just like to cover.
It's nonsense.
Bairuni conspiracy, their favorite word which they use. That's other people. Basically, the fact is the army is failing. The Pakistan army is failing in Balochistan and KPK to tackle a very serious insurgency.
Do you think that he made the trip this time to America, getting the Majid Brigade into the list, all that he's doing because he's basically told the Americans, I need your help to control the situation in Balochistan and in KPK, otherwise it's a lost cause?
So, he's opening himself up to the question, what are the Chinese doing? The Chinese must have asked him the same thing, what are you doing? We have invested, we have put down about $24 billion, and you can't even protect us.
And you assured us that you will be giving us protection.
Yeah. See, BLA was banned in 2019. It is this Majid Brigade, which they say is an alias. Basically, trying to signal to Pakistan. This is what the US, I think, signal to Pakistan, look, we can do this. You facilitate our mineral exploration in Balochistan.
Huh.
But Americans also know, you see, unlike the Chinese, the Americans are not going to put any of their own people. They don't have prison labor.
But he's
The
also
Chinese
said
have.
that, don't ask us, which he says it, and so did Hina Rabbani Khar, that don't ask us to choose between China and America. We know how to handle both. And why should we be pushed to one corner and the other, and not to the other corner? We both are our friends. So basically, कि हम दोनों से लूट
वो भी
लेंगे.
strategic autonomy का, basically.
हाँ,
No, that is their
sovereignty.
version of strategic autonomy.
But they've made a choice. The fact
What
that
if they made a choice?
the fact that they praised President Trump so much, nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize, I don't think so they're ever going to nominate President Xi for the Nobel Peace
But that
Prize.
they know that that's never happening.
Nor is she so desperate as
Okay.
Trump is
Yeah.
that he's writing to the Norwegian guys, what happened to my name, This is what bureaucrats in India do. साहब मेरा नाम आगे गया कि नहीं उसके
पद्मा
लिए
award के
हाँ,
लिए।
पद्मा अवार्ड के लिए.
No, but have they squeezed as much as they could from the Chinese, and now hence because of that going to the
I
Americans?
think the Chinese hold them by the unmentionables.
Yeah.
So I
Chinese
don't
are not
think
going to
you
let
can,
go. Chinese won't let go.
They won't let go, and I look. Much of the defense equipment comes from China. A lot of the money which they owe comes from China. China has, I think, almost, if I'm not mistaken, sir, correct me, almost 30% of their foreign debt is owed to
In
the
fact, even
Chinese.
more, because the CPEC debt is very well disguised. You say, "Ki, nahi, this is not a sovereign debt." Actually, all the investment that the Chinese have done are all with sovereign guarantees.
Sovereign guarantees.
So the Chinese debt is much more.
Yeah.
They just pass around this 30% to please the IMF, but the Chinese debt is much more.
So doesn't Washington know this?
Of course.
Of course,
Washington.
you know it.
They know it. So how is Pakistan acceptable as an ally to Trump when they are so much in bed with China?
But there's so
As
many other
Gordon Gekko said, greed is good.
there's so many different aspects involved. Pakistan, everybody knows, is a rogue state.
They're
It's in
calling
bed with
India
China.
a rogue state. Pakistan now is going to every Western media outlet and saying India is a rogue state. Whether it's Sherry Rahman, whether it is Hina Khar, whether it's Shahbaz Sharif.
So, they say that Hitler's law, the greater the lie, the bigger it is believed, the better it is believed. Similarly, if you keep saying every day that phrase which they use for the TTP and the
Fitna al-Khawarij.
Fitna Hindustan,
Fitna Hindustan are the Baloch guys.
Yeah.
Fitna
So you
al-Khawarij
keep
are the...
repeating it ad nauseum, then, it starts having resonance in the media or something like that. But the fact of the matter why the US is getting attracted to Pakistan, this is the fourth time. 3 times in the past, Pakistan's geography has been attractive to the US. Ayub Khan's time, Zia's time and Musharraf's time. Now, the US could well have an interest in Pakistan because of either Iran, whatever plans they have
Yeah.
for Iran, or for strategic minerals. And this is what Pakistan has managed to convince the Americans that एक तो हमारे पास oil है और एक strategic minerals है कुछ नहीं. At least nothing has been proven. Nothing has been
okay.
proven.
But he says that even in this article, he says that that there's Pakistan's going to be a prosperous country because of rare earth minerals, and he claims that ye wala
Dekho,
part
dekho.
hai, that Pakistan's debt will be reduced and we'll soon be among the most
Yaar,
prosperous
main-
societies.
The 30 years I have been looking at Pakistan, he's probably been looking at it longer. I've heard this every 2-3 years. Okay, one. In fact, I just wrote something for ORF in which I had dug out something in 1973. Somebody had said that we are sitting on pata nahi how many billions of barrels of oil in the Indus Basin. Not one barrel has been discovered out there, right? So the point is, this is the standard snake oil which the Pakistani leadership sells to their people. I gave examples of the Sharif saying that in Chiniot we were digging for iron ore and we've discovered, Allah ki mehrbani se, we have got gold and copper deposit in Punjab. Not a damn kilogram has come out of there. This whole Rico Dick thing which they are talking
Balochistan mein
about,
jo hai.
the whole, before this was something called Sendak. Sendak was supposed to change their fate and fortune of the country. Nothing has happened. I think they made $3 billion over 30 years. In Rico Dick, the company which has got the main concession claims that over 37 years, we will make something like $74 billion, which is roughly $2 billion, which this joker is mentioning. $2 billion a year. Now, if in $2 billion a year, it will change the fate and destiny of your nation, then you are worse than Micronesia, also.
No, besides, this mine was discovered in 1993.
Okay.
Today we're 2025.
Yeah.
Commercial mining has not begun on the scale.
It'll still take a couple of years.
Yes.
But he's
because
holding
Saudi
that-
Arabia, they're talking.
And said no.
Kabhi haan, kabhi na, kabhi haan,
No, I think the Saudis have backed off.
They backed off.
So Barak Gold is left holding the baby. And so, the Chinese interest is there.
And Barrick Gold is, from what I am hearing, and let me know if you are also hearing the same things. From what I am hearing, Barrick Gold is actually trying to offload a lot of its equity. Because they don't want to be carrying the can when, the unmentionable hits the fan.
Yeah.
So they are saying, let us cut our losses
and give it to other people.
Let's farm it all out so that we spread our risk.
We went through a lot of litigation. There was this Chief Justice Chaudhary, Iftikhar Chaudhary.
Iftikhar Chaudhary.
He created a lot of chaos in the renewal of the thing. Parak Gold then sued Pakistan, and they won their case. And Pakistan was supposed to pay about $6 or $7 billion. Then they negotiated, and they sort of came back and
They gave them about $1 billion.
Huh.
They gave them about $1 billion.
So, to get rare earths, you require a complete ecosystem. Geological surveys, which are peer reviewed. You need heavy machinery. None of that you see visible on the ground.
State Department gives an Independence Day message, and in that Independence Day message, which I found very strange, you're wishing a country for independence, and then you say, including critical minerals and hydrocarbons and phosphate. Why?
Because that is the carrot that has been dangled before the American donkey. No, seriously.
And that's how they have to justify to the people. Everybody says Pakistan. Are you going nuts? You're going to Pakistan and giving up India? So they have to sell it.
But इतने ढ तो नहीं है Americans की just because State Department is saying critical
अब
minerals.
मेरा मुंह मत खोलो.
यार मेरे को okay, here is a question, and maybe I'm being naive about it. If they have so many hydrocarbons and critical minerals that the Americans are salivating at their mouth to grab all of this, how come the Chinese, who have so much influence inside Pakistan, have not made a pitch for it?
Point.
And same thing
It's
with
a simple
Afghanistan.
question.
Afghanistan, massive amount of minerals. The Chinese are going in and all that. Simple question. Americans were there for 20 years. Did they do anything?
Yeah.
And the Chinese are going to go and, hey, they're going to find something just like that.
Yeah.
Itna aasan nahi hota. It doesn't work that way.
So I want to come back to that question. Do you think that Asim Munir is testing waters with this article, and is he going to be, will he be happy with just fading out into the sunset after?
No chance.
No.
He's not going away.
His term ends in November, right?
The first 3-year term. He can, after the 26th Amendment, get a 2-year. See, the part of the problem today, the turmoil, why Munir is running around like a hare, he can get a 2-year extension. Will he? He can't be sure till daskat ho jayenge.
But there
Kaun
is,
karega?
tell me something. There is a bit of confusion on that. So the original term of the army chief is 3 years, which means that his term ends in November this year. But then they came up with the 26th Amendment, in which the term of the army chief is now 5 years. So the question is that is his term supposed to end in 23 or 25 or 27? I don't think there's any clarity whether a new notification has to be given for his term to be extended to 2027 under the 26th Amendment. That is one. The second, and if it's still 2027, then the question of an extension will come only in 2027. But according to the 26th Amendment, now there is no limit to how long an army chief can keep getting
So
extensions.
that age limit has been removed.
Yeah, so the age limit is no longer there.
And
so
now that he's a field marshal, he said, "मैं तो वैसे ही नहीं retire कर रहा."
he can carry on and on and on.
So he becomes what? That chief marshal, law administrator.
No,
That
why
kind
should
of-
he?
Why?
Why
He
should
doesn't need to give any
I
more
think he
title.
will need an extension in come November.
I'm
feel-
not sure about the legal
Yeah.
position.
He gives himself an extension, or
No,
will
it has to be
Zardari
a-
will have to give an
You see, it's
extension?
No, the government has to.
It's a very,
Shahbaz Sharif.
When Nawaz Sharif sacked Musharraf and appointed Ziauddin as his successor, the reason it wasn't accepted by the rest of the government system, because the section officer of the Ministry of Defence had not signed the order. Nawaz Sharif may have said that Ziauddin is the army chief. But like in all bureaucracies in the subcontinent, the SO has to order and give the file number. Then the order is legal.
Huh.
वो नहीं किया था. Similarly, in the case of Asim Munir, he can give himself an extension, but the section officer will have to sign on it. This Bajwa ko dekha tha.
हाँ.
Bajwa didn't want to hand over the baton either.
Are they all disappearing into Portugal? ये भी मैंने सुना
This is a new thing which has
that
come up.
instead of going
Land
to
is cheap,
Dubai,
so yeah.
they're going to Portugal now.
No, that is because, see, Malta, Portugal, some of these countries have have a scheme of golden visa. So all the wealth which you loot from Pakistan, so the generals and the officials and others, you will either park them in Malta or one of these other European smaller states, or you will park it in Portugal. And Portugal became a favorite destination also because it was relatively easier. The paperwork is not so complicated as far as they're concerned. And once you spend a few years out there, then you automatically qualify for, citizenship. And then you become a member of the EU. So that means you are free to travel and settle anywhere in
So you're
the
talking
European
about
Union.
wealth that these guys have made. Now, many people say, wealth hai kya? If it's such a Bikaristan that everybody thinks it is, if it's such a poor country, where is the army making its wealth from? Of course,
You name
there's-
where isn't.
Oh,
The
no,
question
so
should
how?
be-
There has to be something,
Look,
right? एक तो opium trade है, that everybody knows that the Pakistan is involved in it. Officially, the Pakistan army has an
But look at the
division.
business interests. Cornflakes, soaps, you name it, you name the product. You'll find a Fauji in front of it.
Huh.
Fauji cornflakes, Askari Bank. So they are into, they've got their fingers into every pie. This is the legitimate kind of thing. But otherwise, look at the land in Cholistan. It was given to them as a desert for 30 years service or something. They pull out an illegal canal from the main canal, grow it, and sell it for about 40 or 50 times the cost.
See, essentially, it is called Bikaristan, one, it's the state of Pakistan which is bankrupt. Second, it is a small bunch of people, maybe 1 or 2% of the people, which includes senior military officials, even middle-ranking ones, bureaucrats, some politicians, who are very wealthy.
Okay.
Now, they are not wealthy by Adani Ambani standards or even Mahindra or any of these other big Indian business house standard. By local standard, they're very wealthy. And these are people who have no stake in Pakistan. In the sense they want to, Pakistan is a good place to loot money from, but not a good money to invest money in. And there have been people inside Pakistan, for example, one of their economists keeps asking this question that, listen, how many billion-dollar companies are there in Pakistan? And there are maybe 1 or 2. Okay, you look at the net worth of the Tata Group, it is more than the GDP of Pakistan. So the question is, when you say that where is the wealth coming from, the wealth is individual wealth, which is partly through extortion, smuggling networks which the Pakistan army runs. It's through land. The only industry which actually has made any money in Pakistan, and any country where real estate makes all the money, is a country which is heading for failure. So it's real estate which is the most precious commodity in Pakistan,
Okay.
which is where most of these generals and others make money. So what happens at every rank, you would know this better,
They get
they get 2 plots, one commercial, one residential. तो वो एक को बेच को एक को बनाते हैं, then next rank they'll get 2 more.
Okay, the political families of Pakistan, most of them have sent their children abroad. They live abroad. फिर वो आते हैं and see if the situation is okay, then they come back. Otherwise, they all park themselves abroad. They're completely divorced from the reality of Pakistan. In spite of that, these overseas Pakistanis seem to have a lot of impact back home. The way they came out there, Asim Munir talking to them, then this attack happens. And the social media presence of Pakistanis is pretty strong. Okay, India mein ban kar diya Operation Sindoor ke time. But the fact is that they are continuing with their narrative on social media, which the rest of the world is watching and reading.
So there, the diaspora basically is 2 kinds. One is the staged managed thing, which is limited, which will be pro-government or pro-army. Bulk of the diaspora is pro-Imran Khan. The social media handles of the Imran Khan network are far stronger than what the army has or what Nawaz
It was
Sharif
set up
has.
by ISPR.
They've all
Some
gone
of
rogue. They've gone rogue and gone after Imran Khan.
Huh.
So Imran Khan continues to retain his popularity.
So those handles can't really criticize Asim Munir while they used to criticize Asim Munir in the battle between Munir and Imran
They're
Khan.
criticizing him tremendously abroad. They sort of lobbied and got a bill introduced in the US Congress naming Asim Munir by name.
But not after this attack with India. Not after the
I mean,
India
yeah,
war.
but it's just been 3 months.
Yeah.
They have, Congress has its own sort of schedule and timeline.
No, but I don't think it's so much about. I think you have a point, Smita. That has happened.
Yeah.
The vituperation against the military before Op Sindoor has, of course, got diluted.
Yeah.
But it is now coming back. As so they had this time when they went to Imran Khan and they pleaded with him to rein in his social media warriors. Imran, like an idiot, did it. Okay. And the moment these guys were out of the woods and they managed to manufacture a narrative of their own, which they keep mouthing at every stage, they dumped Imran again. So they had given him certain assurances and they've dumped him. Now, his own stormtroopers are, I suspect, a little nonplussed by what has happened. And they are not able to, manage that thing that, okay, how do we go back to the old narrative?
I mean, because if the rest of Pakistan is looking at Asim Munir as a war hero, how can this bunch of social media handles go on attacking Asim Munir even though their hero is still in jail?
Exactly.
So,
It is happening. You see, you find all the YouTubers.
थोड़ा सा असमंजस है.
Because during that particular time, because people were confused on
Right.
what exactly happened. Now you find
They don't
that
know
the
whether
sa-
they love Imran Khan more or hate India more. So,
And
all
also
the
2
YouTubers-
years out of sight is a little difficult. You have a hero who's
all the
out of sight for
YouTubers
2 years.
who were supportive of Imran Khan and who had to flee Pakistan. They are all back and they're all very, very critical of Asim Munir and the government.
Okay.
But one indicator, you see, 5th of August was 2 years of Imran Khan behind bars. And he had given a call for a massive movement and stuff like that. It fizzled out. Then it became, you decentralize it to the district level. Districts mein jo hain, wo apna program kare. It doesn't work that way in Pakistan.
Correct.
This decentralization doesn't work. You have to have a leader who's marching in front and everybody
This
will come behind.
revolution is losing its steam, right? Without a hero fronting it, that whole movement, Tehreek, is to me it seems
but
like that.
See,
No?
one of the reasons, no, you're right. And one of the reasons is the viciousness with which they crack down on members of his party. See, there is no rule of law in Pakistan. There never was. But at least they had a pretension in the past. Now, even the pretension has gone.
Gone, okay.
So, it is the army which decides whether Tilak Deveshwar is guilty or not guilty. Now, if he has to come out of prison, it is not the judge. The judge is only there as a rubber stamp.
Which
It is the
never-
local captain, major colonel who will decide whether the guy is to come out
And
of prison
for
or
the
not.
first time you find a large number of ladies, women, who are behind bars for supporting Imran Khan's movement. That's quite a...
But actually, his women supporters have shown far greater intrepidness and
Courage.
bravery, courage than the men.
So
So,
here-
a coward like this chief minister of KP, who's a loudmouth and bombastic and everything, is the biggest coward who is willing to go and lie prostrate at the feet of the army. But it's the women supporters of Imran Khan
Who came out on the streets.
who are ready to go to jail.
Yeah. So here he says on a question of politics, he says political reconciliation is possible by apologizing sincerely. Now I don't know ye
But
Urdu
this is
mein
not
kya
the
tha.
complete thing. So I saw it on a YouTube, a YouTuber. He said, let Imran Khan try for 10 years. He won't be able to remove me. So much for reconciliation. This is what was reported by Sohail Baresh.
Huh.
But what he actually said was, let Imran Khan try for 10 years. तो कहाँ reconciliation की बात? This is only for the gallery.
He's not going to.
He's
be
not
sincere.
going to-
He's not even going for 10 years. And so long as he's not going, Imran Khan is not coming out of jail.
Let me come back to the YouTubers and the social media handles of Pakistan. So Operation Sindoor, India bans all of them. Indians can't see ये लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं. Right? What are the social media handles saying? What is the narrative being put out by Dawn, Express Tribune, all these newspapers? Indians can't see it. So Indians can't counter it because Indians are not seeing it. They are putting out their stuff, whatever. But the rest of the world is watching it. the rest of the embassies where we sent delegations, India sent its delegations to talk, they are reading what Drawn is saying and India is not refuting it. By India, I mean Indian media is not refuting, whether
Because it
social,
doesn't know.
traditional. Because we haven't seen it. None of us, I mean, जिनके पास VPN है, वो जाएंगे and all that. So it's not. So I don't understand. Okay, it maybe there was some reason why YouTube gets banned because they were making money. Pakistani people are making money out of YouTube because Indians are watching it. But what is the bigger villain? The Pakistani narrative or the few YouTubers are the villains?
Obviously, the narrative.
The
Obviously,
narrative.
yeah.
So does it continue to make sense to ban the social media handles and the YouTubers?
The bigger villain is the inability of the government in India to understand how narratives are built, how modern communication technology is working, how you connect to people, who are on social media. So, for example, in Kargil, during Kargil, and you would remember, you are very active those days also, we used to hold a press conference, which was very effective. We used to hold a press conference every evening. There were Colonel Bikram Singh, later General, and there was Jassal, right?
Raminder Jassal, JSXP.
Yeah, and both very articulate, very good briefings they would give, but that was the time of television. You could do one briefing in the evening and get away with it. Today, the Noor Khan Air Base is bombed. Within 5 minutes, I am seeing it on Twitter, virtually real time. Right? But my government is giving me a briefing the next day. How does this work? So, one, they never understood how this system works.
Or else on sources information was being given.
Acha, the sources information
that became
also.
a little awkward.
It became awkward because you gave the right information but without giving accurate information. So you said Karachi has been bombed, but you didn't say what in Karachi has been bombed. You never gave the information the way information should have been given out. The press conferences which we were holding, and now, again, I know I'm going to be pilloried for it. People are going to abuse me. Frankly speaking, those were not done well. If you ask me, those were not done well.
Okay.
Because you were hardly giving out the kind of information which would set a narrative.
And it also has to be unfortunate because when we ask that ऐसे क्यों कर रहे हो आप? We can't, television and social media and internet cannot wait for those two press conferences a day, one at 4 o'clock, one at 8 o'clock. The response we got was that we are busy with a war-like situation. War नहीं बोल रहे थे, war-like situation. Media can't be fed on a constant basis. You're a hungry beast. We can't keep feeding you. So
Then don't complain.
Then don't complain.
Please.
So, that's a choice I think the government made.
Good or bad.
But sir,
We take a hit. No, I agree with you.
Sir,
I'm not disputing
my
you.
point is
So that
there
is
are-
the choice which government made.
there are-
But the point, you coming back to banning of media, it may have had an importance at that particular time, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is. I think now, barring a few virulent YouTubers who you can identify and you can block them, but at least the media, the newspaper, the print media, and the articles that are being written and the kind of narrative that is being set should be opened up.
Yeah.
Because I don't see to continue it for a long time, unless, of course, there's a feeling that it is sending a signal that we are wanting to,
मैं
get
ये
back.
कह रही हूँ
I don't know.
that how much are they going to make? Just if we think that, they are making hits by Indians clicking onto it, how much will they make? 2 crore, 5 crore,
But
6
you can't
crore?
regulate what Indians
No,
watch.
what I'm saying is...
What I'm saying is that it's up to the Indians. Don't watch that, yeah?
No, but so...
Once they
so-
know...
Even if they watch, what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, does it matter if random Pakistanis make 5-6 crores? The point is, for every YouTube story that a Pakistani puts out, there'll be 20 YouTubers from India who will counter that.
Yeah.
Why are our guys being, considered less than a Pakistani
So
YouTuber?
I think you really need to think this thing through at the governmental level also. So for example, so when you say now that this was a considered decision by the government, see the government...
I'm just speculating.
No, I know.
I'm not part of the government. but I was
Obviously,
speculating.
I know. But my point is that the government needs to understand that modern warfares are fought on three prongs. First is, of course, the military and the kinetic prong. The second one is the diplomatic one. And the third one is the narrative one, right? The Infowars.
Absolutely.
Now, the point is you can't say, I am very busy with the kinetic one, so
Yeah.
the other two I'm going to ignore.
No.
Or I'm busy with two, so third one I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't. So at one level you say, I don't give a damn what somebody else is saying. At another level you are telling me, why are they saying this? Nobody is listening to me.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's also not unpatriotic to question the media policy of your government. You know, if we say that ye theek nahi hai, isko theek karo, it's not that I'm being unpatriotic at the time of a conflict. I'm just telling you that it's ineffective and improve your situation real time.
Because the entire Western media was plugging Pakistan's line. You know, where the New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times, they are all in any case anti-India. But the kind of, on the 7th and 8th, the kind of bashing you got in the Western media, there was really no counter. Because as you rightly said, you didn't know.
Yeah.
You didn't know.
No, but look, so there
So
are.
even this article where he's talking garbage absolutely, Asim Munir, when he and the people saying "Ye kufar country ke upar" and all that. Now he has said this. The point is that if you are not on social media and if you are not bypassing and figuring out ki kya hai, you won't get access to this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so but look, so okay, I'm a little conflicted out here. Part of me says that look, for example, let's take this article. You can't, in the normal course, you cannot access Pakistani news media in India,
Yeah.
right? And yet, all Indian news organizations have VPNs and are monitoring. And most Indians, in any case, are not going to go to the Pakistani source. They will be going to an Indian source to see what is happening, right? So the Indian media is reporting on something which the Indian media thinks is newsworthy. Now, floods in Pakistan, 300 people dead, makes no news. Nobody gives a damn about Pakistanis out here, right? But somebody who's threatening nuclear war on you, people will give a damn about it. So, yes, the Indian media has reported this thing and pretty accurately.
Even what he said in Florida,
In
that
Florida.
half the world will blow up and things.
So, and again, a lot of people are expressing shock. But come on, you know it. This is a standard thing which the Pakistanis say.
But from American soil
that
to
was-
talk in Armageddon.
That was a shocker.
Yeah.
And the US didn't do a thing about it. No pushback, no statement. Only thing they said was ask the Pakistanis.
No, but the US will not, because look, we know what the relationship between India and the US is now.
True. But
Like we want to live in denial,
for
we can deny it.
But for him,
It's a broken
to use
relationship.
American soil and that I will take half the world down with me. Half the world could also include Americans.
Yeah.
You know?
And he,
that was a
Zelensky
shocker for me.
hasn't said that. Putin hasn't said that.
Yeah.
This tin pot dictator goes and says this
Yeah.
out in America, and nothing from even the peaceniks.
Yeah.
Not even the Democrats. That
Putin said
you're
it.
talking about
Putin had threatened nuclear war.
from America?
No.
No.
Yeah.
He's not done that. I mean, I think even the Venezuelans, when they were like from UN, udhar bhi nahi bola tha. You know, so I just find it very bizarre that Pakistan was for a long time a problem child. It's no longer a problem child. I think I asked this of, Pankaj Saran also, that does India read DC wrong every time and Pakistan reads DC right? Do you think that?
No, you see, it's a question of the US think that the need for tissue paper called Pakistan. As I mentioned, it happened thrice in the past. 3 times they required the services of Pakistan. When those time for the services is over, they throw the tissue paper away.
तो वो चाइना के पास चले जाते फिर.
But China doesn't do the same. China doesn't give any free lunches. Na? US ने, for example, $30 billion दे दिए during this war on terror.
उठा के वो सारे J series planes दे रहे हैं उनको, radar उनको दे रहे हैं.
They
What
may be
else do you
giving them
want?
at friendship prices, but there's going to be a bill.
Operation Sindoor became expensive for us because of the radar's locations that was being given.
But how
to
effective were
Pakistan.
they?
They were pretty effective.
Huh?
They were
Yeah.
effective.
No, but I think the handling of it was well taken care of. If there were as much as there was supposed to be, those missiles and all that, as the NSA said in IIT Madras, show me one window which was broken.
No, that is true. So the initial thing was an ambush. Subsequently, they lost the surprise advantage, after which they got taken out. But the thing is,
again, that
but
can be
look,
debated.
you know, on the US question, my own sense, and please feel free to push back. You know, if it was just about using Pakistan as toilet paper, I don't have a problem. Okay, let the Americans use them. I think from an Indian point of view, what is a lot more sinister for me is that the Americans are now using the Pakistanis as a lever against us, which actually buttresses the old thinking in the Indian mind that it's the Americans who have always propped up Pakistan to keep India down, which becomes a major confidence barrier between India and the United States if ever you want to pick up the pieces also. And that, to my mind, is a greater problem than any temporary trust deficit or difference of opinion. More than that, if I feel that you are always going to use him against me, I've always felt it and now I see it happen, then I'm never going to
But that's
trust
always
you.
happened, and it will. Sushant, if you remember in '65, Ayub Khan would not have dared do Operation Gibraltar or Grand Slam because these weapons came to Pakistan. Pakistan felt bolstered that yes, now we can take on India before India becomes too strong because we've got Patton tanks, we've got saber jets. So 71 of the different case was 71. It was a problem in East Pakistan, but this thing will get reinforced in India. I don't know whether the Pakistani establishment and President Trump and company realize that what they're doing today, that's why it took 20 years of bipartisan support to get India-US relations to where they were.
Has it gone back? Has it
It's
gone
taken a
back
week
to square one?
shake
you
it
feel?
at least.
Okay.
It's been shaken. Everybody admits
Look, I think
been
it's
shaken.
severely shaken.
Yeah.
Look, my own sense is it took one conflict or war, if you want to call it, Kargil, and the role that the Americans played in that to actually build a lot of confidence between India and the United States. Subsequently, what George W. Bush did on the
Yeah.
nuclear deal,
Sure.
that was the next stage. And it's taken one conflict for that entire progress which was made over a quarter century to go down the tube.
Okay.
Now, please tell me which Indian, while the government at the governmental level, they're playing it pretty calm and very composed. They're going through all the paces of exercises and stuff like that. We will continue to have dialogues, meetings, everything. But I don't see how any government in India now is going to have any trust on any American on strategic and security issues.
Sure. Yes.
What a lot of people are saying is
At least not
India
this
needs to
administration.
ride out these 3 years and then take a considered call. Because these 3 years are going to be rough. And not because the US permanent establishment has become anti-India and pro-Pakistan. It is because of President Trump and whatever thinking that he has. So ride out these 3 years and then go back to the drawing
But this
board.
is what everybody had thought that when, Pakistan had thought that we'll have to ride out the Trump years. But instead, it is India which has to ride out the
And
Trump years.
Trump 2.0.
2.0, yes. They were fearing Trump 2.0. So they thought we have to ride it out now because India ka yaar aa gaya. And now instead of India ka yaar, your Munir ka yaar ban gaya ye to. So, okay, another thing which I want to ask is usually whatever America says and does with regard to Afghanistan and Pakistan, that's a signal to its allies in the West. UK would automatically do that. But Trump has vitiated that relationship too with Europe. Do you see the Quad nations taking their signal as always from the US with regard to Pakistan and Afghanistan?
Quad nations.
Australia, Japan. Japan has invited Shehbaz Sharif after 21
look.
years, a Pakistan Prime Minister.
No, see, some of that will continue to happen. Maybe if the Americans are, getting close to Pakistan, some of the American allies will continue to, also do the same thing. But I'm sure the Japanese realize the limitations. The Aussies realize, even if they don't, I don't think what kind of a relationship some of these countries make with Pakistan should. I don't think I have any locus standi in telling them don't get close to
Sushant,
Pakistan.
Japan invites Pakistani Prime Minister a week after a nuclear threat has been made by the, no, understand Japan, and invites when?
Yeah, that's virtue signaling that Japanese have a vested interest in ensuring there's no nuclear war around the world. You want
On
to buy that?
Hiroshima's
One other thing about
anniversary.
Japan, you know, there are a lot of reports that the Japanese are fed up of Pakistanis who are coming there and begging and molesting Japanese women. A lot of that is going around in
तो
the
मत
media.
ले आओ उनको.
नहीं, so it could well be the Japanese PM tell him कि तू tell your guys to become bandhas.
So there's no
No, I don't think
demographic
so.
change
I have
which
my
is
doubts
happening.
No, it is a problem in Japan because they have a declining population.
Okay, how is UK going to react? I said Quad, but how is UK going to react? How's Europe reacting now?
No, but
See-
first of all, with Quad, how is India reacting? I think that is the more important thing to see before talking about
Yeah, in the sense
Australia
that
and
will
Japan.
we be going ahead with the Quad meeting?
Yeah.
Should we be going ahead with the Quad meeting?
I don't think it's happening.
Ideally, I think we should say कि नहीं, it's
They
not
just 3
convenient
more months
right
left.
now.
September,
हाँ.
October, November, and
Right.
there's 4 months left,
Right.
right? Now,
नहीं, फिर pollution हो जाती है ना इंडिया में.
no, but in the sense that UN के लिए PM जा रहे हैं. So it's all set.
Yeah, is he
already.
going?
Yeah, he's going.
I
to.
don't see why he should. See, my point is that look at the messaging which is coming from the US. When somebody like the Secretary of State is as brazen or Trump's trade advisor, just today's news, right? Where Secretary Rubio is saying that, look, if the Chinese were not in the oil market, then were not buying Russian oil, the oil prices would go up, there would be shortages. So the Chinese buying Russian oil is
Kosher.
going to stabilize the market. The Indian buying Russian oil is fueling the war.
War, yeah.
Can anybody make sense of it?
Yeah.
I mean, the
Okay.
Garcetti himself, the US ambassador, he said, we have told India to buy oil from Russia.
Sir,
That
he
was
was the
Pele.
enemy.
Huh.
He was the enemy. Forget
Democrat
Garcetti,
tha na,
right?
huh.
Forget him. I'm talking about the current administration. Look at just today Rubio has said this.
Yeah.
The trade advisor Navarro, who's quite a madcap,
Yeah.
he is saying something that the Indians are fueling this war
Yeah.
by buying Russian oil,
Which is the
by
most
processing,
bizarre
by processing 50% of the Russian oil and selling it to other players and making the money and paying the Russians in dollars. The Russians are not accepting a single dollar payment.
Huh.
The Russians have stopped selling their oil in dollars. They don't accept dollars anymore. They don't even accept euros. Right. So the point is that I don't know. It's very clear that the current American establishment has declared us enemy number one. Now you can hide behind it. You can try and
That's a very strong
cover
statement.
it. What else is it, yaar?
Okay.
Please tell me. Is it any different?
I won't go so
you-
far
Sir,
to say
their
enemy,
their-
but certainly a country of concern.
Their
That's the
actions-
word that they use.
Sir,
That's
please-
such an awkward situation
Yeah,
to be in. I mean, I
absolutely.
find it
Can
very
you imagine
difficult.
within a space of 3 months?
Yeah.
Within
Yeah.
a space of
They
3
seem.
months.
Tell me, which other country are they behaving in as vicious a manner as they're behaving with us?
Yeah. No,
Please
they
tell
singled
me.
out India.
Right?
India has been
Singling us out.
singled
So then how else do you define an enemy or an adversary?
So you tell me, is
Acha, and then you look at Europe. So a lot of people in India say that, look, we should look to Europe now. Is Europe willing to stand up for itself? They couldn't stand up for themselves against the Americans on trade and other issues. Do you think they will stand up against the Americans for us? Or for our sake?
they did for Zelensky? They've all landed up together.
Yeah, because
in-
out there
So that
it's,
would be very interesting to see.
Huh.
That's
Let us
to
see
say
what
their
happens.
in the White,
backyard.
no, it was in the White House.
Huh.
Do they stand up for Zelensky? Because Trump is very clear that Zelensky has to accept the conditions offered by Trump, Putin.
Huh.
Will now Europe stand by Zelensky and take a panga with the US or not?
I think they will, because they have said it pretty clearly. The EU has said it very clearly that sovereignty is something that is, you can't question Ukraine's sovereignty. And that sovereignty, the word sovereignty, is something which is up for grabs as far as Putin is concerned. He wants
Then if they
territory.
can stand up to Trump today, then similarly they should be able to stand up with him in anything
For
else.
India, if it comes to that. But will they bother? Because with India, it's a different thing. It's not their
They're
yard.
buying their refined
plus,
oil from
but-
India.
No, they're buying the refined oil, but they're also blaming us for buying the oil from Russia.
Hmm.
But they are also buying gas from Russia, of which they have no compunctions. So they are saying that we can buy the gas from Russia, and whatever payments we make is not fueling the war, but the
उससे
oil
ना
which
separate
you
account
buy.
रखा हुआ है।
So why are we not able to push this narrative out stronger? What do you think whose role is it to push out? Is it the private sector which should put out, in the sense that traditional media, social media, we should be putting it out, or is it the job of the Indian government and not?
I think it's everybody's job. I think it's the job
It has
of the
to be whole of
diplomatic
government.
community. It is the job of
But the lead has to be given by the government,
the lead has to be given by the government.
by
and-
the MEA, or they have to be in the. I think they're doing a pretty good job of it.
But, do you feel let down by the Indian expat community in these countries that they?
But I never expected anything from the Indian expat community. It's the people in India who have been, and the Prime Minister does it all the time. Most other people do it all the time. Our media loves to portray the Indians going all hysterical about the Prime Minister's visit. All of that is all very well. But please tell me, when has the Indian diaspora ever stood up in their home countries or their adopted countries? When have they ever stood up to be counted?
You have that one lady in the US
Yeah.
telling on Indian television that PM Modi should pick up the phone and speak to President Trump.
Basically, kiss unmentionable.
Yeah.
Kiss the ring and
No,
say,
but come on, give me a break, yeah. The
on.
other guy is being so unreasonable about everything, and you are saying that
And
no,
there
you
is-
lie
and that
prostrate.
India should fund Lindsey Graham's campaign.
Huh?
That Lindsey Graham, who's so vitriolic against
He's
India.
a guy, that 500% tax tariff on India.
He's the one who did that and said that the reason they're doing it is because India refuses to fund. Indians bankrolled a lot of Trump's campaign. So please don't tell me this, that Indians haven't stepped up enough. Expat Indians, they've done quite a bit for the Republican.
They have very strong
campaign.
constituency pressure in many
Yeah.
constituencies, especially, for example, in California.
Yeah.
I know from.
So I think
So
maybe,
Indian, if they were, diaspora was sort of organized, they could make a big push to the Congress level.
No, please tell me, all these so-called CEOs of companies whom we celebrate, please tell me which one of them has stood up to be counted? They're all terrified. Maybe
Won't
they'll
get-
cancel my citizenship. No, I'm not going to. My green card will go. All these, you remember all those professors who would pontificate to India on what we should do, what we should not do? Have you heard any of them, whether they are economics professors, whether they are great political scientists or Nobel laureates or what have you, please tell me which one of them has stood up to be counted and gone against Trump? Ek Fareed Zakaria, leave him around.
which is
aside.
so surprising because he was supposed to be the other side.
He's supposed to be the other side. He has shown, still that, yes, there is a problem in the US when it comes to India. He has stood up to be counted.
Yeah. बाकियों के मुंह में दही
Please
जम गई
tell me
है.
any
And
of
in
the
fact,
others.
this is the biggest strategic mistake
Yeah.
of the US. In fact, he said this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Fareed Zakaria, he's a bright guy. He always was,
Sure,
right? I
yes.
don't necessarily have to agree with him. But
Yes.
when it comes to the crunch time, he stood up to be counted.
Yeah.
All these other fellows, Kaushik, Basu, Arshutosh, Varshni, all these characters, name one of them who has stood up to be counted?
Yeah.
Not one.
And many of them are already citizens. How frightened are they? I can understand a green carder. Yeah, जिनके बच्चे green carders
Okay, listen.
हैं, they
So
are worried.
you are a green carder and you are afraid that your green card will be snatched away. So you have kowtowed. Okay? And you are pontificating to me on how I should run my country.
Yeah. Yeah.
On what basis, bhai? Either you are standing on a principle or you are not.
So, this is the point where I feel that the government of India should figure out, when we needed them, they were quiet. They didn't help out. So, अब इनको घास देने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Now, I'll tell you why I'm saying this is because for a long period of time, the elite, and Sushant will agree with me, the elite of Pakistan was brought in here into India, put up in 5-star hotels, this track 2 which used to happen, unko khilana, pilana,
Yeah,
unko
there will be a good
Bharat
constituency
Darshan,
of peace.
that this will be a constituency of peace. They will prevail upon the Pakistan army and the thing. Those guys turned out to be the nastiest towards India when it came to the crux. At no point of time did this whole ecosystem which India cultivated to such an extent. They didn't. So अब जाके Indians को समझ आ गई है about that ecosystem. I hope Indians now figure out
You see,
about this
to be
ecosystem.
to be fair, Smita, we don't know what our missions and the embassy in the US are actually doing to build up diaspora
I'm
support.
not talking official right now. I'm just
No,
talking about
just
diaspora.
for a minute. So we don't know what pressure they are bringing to bear on the Congress. You know, Congress moves in a very slow manner, whereas the executive is far more decisive. So I think we should also know that if nothing comes out of Congress, if nobody in Congress makes a noise, despite having so many Indian Americans who are funding them and our constituency supporters, then you
So-
should really look at the
But sir, tell
thing
me,
once again.
but-
one official who I spoke to said that behind the scenes बहुत हो रहा है, आपको पता नहीं है, जरूरी नहीं होता कि सब कुछ मीडिया को बताने की
And
जरूरत
very
है.
often what
Exactly.
happens
That was
possible.
my point. That was
It's
my point.
possible.
So, okay, and so I am a skeptic, and I will say that when you have nothing to show for it, you will say a lot is happening behind the scenes, and I don't have to tell anybody.
That also is a point.
Okay, one. Secondly, sir, and this is a very serious question. Maybe there are people who are trying to work through the Congress. Please tell me, in the United States of America today, the entire checks and balances system has collapsed. There is one man who decides everything.
And he has a majority
And
in both
he
houses.
has a coterie around him who have his ear and who will tell him in his ear what they think he should or should not do. It is up to him whether he listens to them or not. So, one, if you are going to, during 1971, the US Congress, whether the House of Representatives or the Senate, was entirely opposed to Pakistan and was backing India. Right? We had created enough of a wave out there. Did it stop Nixon and that other fellow, Kissinger, from doing what they were trying to do? So ultimately, in these matters, it is the White House which counts. Please tell me, all these Fortune 500 company CEOs who are supposed to be very powerful, supposed to have contacts all over the place, all these other various Indian billionaires out there, all these tech giants and thought gurus and what have you, they have no access.
True. No.
So
I agree
अब हमारे
that
को
something
everybody will
visible-
tell us कि no, you know, we are working behind the scenes. Okay,
Right.
fine.
Definitely, if it was more visible, if the Indian pushback in the US was more visible, whether in Congress, whether in White House, that would be so much more better. Today, that pushback is just not visible. I just hope, to give them the benefit of the doubt, that maybe something, and I hope something is happening on the back.
You know-
Otherwise, just write out the next 3 years.
Because what
Because there's very little that you'll be able to do.
the kind of punitive action that Trump took on colleges, on universities, that kind of first he sent out this signal in the first couple of months of his tenure that this is what I'm going to do. He went after Harvard, he went after several universities, and cut the funding, did this, so put everybody on the back foot. So I think there are many companies which might have stepped up and spoken are now terrified कि government contracts बंद हो जाएंगे या कुछ हो जाएगा या फिर they will not get funding for their or their visas to get Indians H1B visas to get the green cards, maybe उसका quota कम हो जाएगा. So ultimately everybody has that. अगर कोई EMI का सोच रहा है तो कोई इसका सोच रहा है. So it actually comes back to that
तो
fear.
यार मेरा सिर्फ एक सवाल. I have just one question, sir. I understand this. But then, when you take pot shots at us in India, right? Go the media, go the industrialist, etc.,
Yeah.
cronyism. We are afraid of doing anything. But we live in a free country called America. Where is that free country, America?
Oh, no,
Of
it
course,
isn't.
it's all
So
hypocrisy.
then, that is what
It's
I'm saying.
all hypocrisy.
Yeah.
So
Ram.
listen, don't tell me I live in this country. I want my democracy. I want to decide which party I will back, which party I will oppose. I want my government to decide my policies. If I don't like those policies, I'll oppose them. If I like those policies, I'll support them.
Yeah.
Right? That is my choice. Who the hell are you to tell me what to do?
Yeah, the Western media totally.
That's it.
It's one thing for the American administration to put pressure on India. Countries do that, right? At some point of time, pressure on us. Some point of time, no pressure. Maybe we are at that point which he was mentioning, which is of the Nixon-Kissinger era. Maybe we've gone back to that era. वो pressure हम पर आ रहा है. But look at the way the media is also. The Western media pressure on India is so tremendous. I was just mentioning the other day. Just random articles with no information in it, just old information, they're just rerunning all kinds of articles, putting pressure on India, making Pakistan look like this shining diamond as compared to India, which is bizarre.
And the Pakistanis themselves, this guy,
Yeah.
he himself says, we are a dumper truck. Right?
Asif
He
Munir
is
said-
saying.
No, and Pakistani saying, "हैं? हमारे यहाँ तेल है? Do we have oil?"
Gold reserves, rare minerals, सब कुछ
You know,
है.
people are saying, "Where?"
Yeah.
अच्छा ये जो है ना this my article in ORF is titled Sheikh Chillinomics, right? This is the standard one that okay, now we have minerals, so by 3 years time we will exploit these minerals. So $2 billion will come from here, 5 billion from there. Then we will use this money to do this. Then we will get $20 billion. Then we will use this money to do this. 20 years from now, we'll become a developed country.
Khiyali pulao.
You know,
No,
this
no, no,
is.
remember when SIFC started,
Huh.
Asif Munir said 25 billion from Saudi Arabia, 25 billion from Kuwait, 25 billion from UAE.
And 25 from Qatar. So $100 billion will
$100
come.
billion 3 years ago.
$1 million नहीं आया.
Yeah, Tela, 1 million. Tela nahi aaya.
Huh. This one has come in. Navarro's, he slams India's
Yeah, this is the one,
opportunistic purchases of Russian crude. These are the kind of articles which are coming out, and they are coming out every 3 hours, every 4 hours. So, and it's
That's how
very,
you build a narrative.
so it's very interesting
yeah.
to see, Tilak. Every 4 hours, Western media starts off from UK, from the US, chalta rahega, chalta rahega, chalta rahega. At 5:30, the Indian Ministry of External Affairs Joint Secretary will come out with one anodyne press statement, and that's all
These
we are
are
doing.
baseless, unwarranted charge.
Yeah.
मतलब ये तो लिखे हुए हैं कि वो 4 words हैं उनको बार-बार
that we
ऊपर
don't
नीचे
give
करके.
a flying rat's ass for whatever you have to say,
And which we do.
which we do.
No, but listen, to be fair to the Western media, and I'm not a fan of the Western media, but the Western media has been pointing out the hypocrisy of the Trump administration on penalizing India and giving a free pass not only to China, but also to countries like Turkey and Europe. They have questioned them.
The traditional media, or you're talking about
No, I'm talking about the
Podcasters and-
not just the podcasters.
podcasters have come out in
even
support of
even
it.
people in say CNBC or all the other channels in the
MSNBC,
US.
yeah.
They have asked these questions. They've continued to ask why only India, why not the others, the CNNs, all of these guys. To be fair to them, they have asked. They have not pressed the issue. They've not tried to pin down those guys. But they have asked those questions.
But that's also because, to a certain extent, I'm being skeptical out here, but to a certain extent, because for them, Trump is enemy. So enemies are friend. So Trump ka enemy abhi India hai, so India ke
That's
saath
one
hum lag
advantage
jayenge.
that you, because Trump is a polarizing figure. In the US, very polarizing figure. So people left wing who are opposed to Trump will automatically look at India favorably. So there is that, of course. But also, the point which Shant had made earlier, and there is no denying it, that you need to get your media strategy up and running.
Yeah.
See, either you take the point of view that we couldn't give a damn, then don't. Then don't get upset by what the Western media says.
Yeah.
But if you do, then your media strategy, it has to be a 360-degree media strategy. You just can't focus on this press release which you mentioned, or
And-
one press conference a day. It has to be a comprehensive media strategy, which you need trained, specialized people
Yeah.
working 24/7.
And it's a cluster bombing that you need to do. This is what I feel, that like it was done during Kargil, the Indian media is ever ready to do it. It's not as if nahi karna chahte. Traditional media ho jaye, social media wants to do it.
On the Indian media, number one, you don't give instructions to the Indian media.
Yeah.
You tell them what your side of the story is. This whole business of trying to tell them what to do, that's a
work.
mug's game.
It
It's
doesn't
not going to
work.
work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think we need to be clear on that count. The second thing we need to be clear about what is the kind of messaging we want to do? What is the idiom in which we want to do? If you use Queen's English today to connect to somebody 20, 25 years old, the Instagram generation, it's never going to work.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
And
right?
you have a lot of young people who are willing to do this for you, who can speak in the idiom of the masses,
Yeah.
who know how to connect
Yeah.
with them. Get them on board and give them a free hand.
So there is this huge problem on how they, need to look at these issues. But somehow it's just.
Yeah. So this Hina Kahar went on a podcast, and she said that she called India a belligerent and hegemonic country, and she said it's a rogue nation. So yeah. So how do you see this now? Like, what do
Not
you
the
see?
first time she said this.
Bhagwati.
She's been using this kind of language for a few years now. But since nobody out here watches Pakistan very closely, so a lot of people have
No, this is
given
an
her a
American
pass.
podcaster.
No, I know.
Ian Bremmer.
I know, but she has been saying this on multiple occasions and multiple forums, in various interviews, both in the Pakistani press as well as in the Western press, in lectures or speeches or whatever, talks in Western universities. She has been plugging this line. So there is nothing new in what she's saying. And the standard bugbear is that India's Hindutva policies, as though their Islamist jihadist policies
No,
are
that is
kosher.
justified.
Huh?
That is just because
Islamist jihadist policies are justified.
Yeah.
Sponsoring terrorism is justified. And when you pin them down, they say, but that was in the past. Okay, it was in the past, then what was Pahalgam, which you were supporting? That the TRF, you were the guys who were batting for the TRF and the UNSC, na?
Yeah.
So you are telling us that, now we don't do it anymore. At every stage when they get caught, they say it was in the past, not now. 5 years from now, they'll say it was in the past, not now.
Yeah.
So I don't buy anything that comes from a Pakistani seriously.
So she also says, that, when I was in school and college and all, we were brought up with these liberal values that war is not an answer and stuff like that. I mean, and then she
You know
says
the
that-
family she comes from, na?
Yeah.
They have bloody slaves in their farms, yeah.
Yeah,
She's
feudal
talking
lord
about feudal lord wale hain. My feudal lord.
the
ये
book by
हमको lecture दे
Tehmina
रहे
Durrani,
हैं.
huh?
They kill their brothers and sisters for land. She's giving us a lecture on progressive and secular values.
So, but what I'm trying to say is that they lie through their teeth to a Western audience which is not skeptical about their lies.
See, because the Western
It
audience
feeds that
is
narrative.
looking at them from their eyes. Their moderation, their values. They can't imagine a country like Pakistan. Their values, the kind of things that they do. They find it difficult to imagine. It's not politically correct.
It sounds like fiction to them.
No,
Yeah.
also see when they are interviewing, so they all think that they are liberals, right? All of these guys who are interviewing, they are liberal media. So they think that here is this one, she ticks many boxes. She's a woman. Then she's Islamic. So she
speaks good English.
she
Yeah.
speaks Oxford English. So
Western educated.
Western educated.
Entrepreneur
तो
on her
अगर
own
आप
right.
उसको नहीं, if you are disbelieving what she's saying, or if you're a little aggressive
You're
in your questioning,
Islamophobic.
you're Islamophobic.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
So it's okay. So you know what I mean? Trying to say 157 Christian countries. Then you have Islamic countries. One country which has a prime minister today, after God knows how many years, who leans Hindutva, is not acceptable.
Who's not shy of saying
Rules by
Yeah.
the constitution, but is Hindutva? Doesn't shy away from his Hindutva ideals, but that is not acceptable. But an Islamic nation is as acceptable.
Yeah, it's-
So you tell me this hypocrisy. How do you deal with that kind of
You can't
hypocrisy?
deal with it because it's ideological. You see, the person who's interviewing for him, it's ideological that he shouldn't be labeled Islamophobic. He shouldn't be labeled as being politically incorrect. And Pakistan, countries like Pakistan, this is oxygen for them. They know exactly where that man is coming from.
But
Yeah.
this is not just in countries like Pakistan, it's in countries like the United States. So when you will have these right-wing Christian politicians who are very hardcore, that evangelical Christian characters from the Bible Belt and all, they will go against India being a Hindu country or espousing Hindu values and will want to enforce Christian values on Hindus and Christian values within their own country and don't see the contradiction in what they are saying.
Yeah.
Right? So it is what somebody told me long time back, that the whole Jesuit concept is that, look, you are secular. So you must be secular because you're not non-believers, you are secular. So you must practice secularism. But I don't believe in secularism.
So why do you want me
So,
to?
so I am entitled to being a bigot, but you have to be secular.
And
Logic is
you
that.
must allow me to convert you.
And you must allow me to convert you.
But
and if
then-
you don't get converted, to kill you.
Yeah.
So even the Pakistanis say that.
Yeah.
Are you had Nehru, you are secular, run your country the way you be secular. भाई क्यों तुम हमको secularism का पाठ क्यों पढ़ाते हो? What about your country?
Exactly.
So saying we are not even secular. We don't claim to be secular.
Yeah.
So we are
आप
not.
कहते हो ना आप secular हो.
आप कहते हो ना कि आप secular हो, so you do this.
But look at the Pakistanis. Gandhi was not secular, so you wanted Pakistan. Nehru was not secular, so you wanted Pakistan. Right? The moment you got Pakistan, Nehru and Gandhi become secular, so you must practice secularism. Today, the same guys, I can show you, because I have a record of 30, 40, 50 years of their writings, right? I will show you the same guys who in the 70s were saying that Indira Gandhi is a bigot, Nehru was a bigot, etc., etc. Congress is the most Hinduwadi party, right? These are the Pakistanis who are saying it. Today they are saying, but Congress was very secular.
Yeah.
It was India was a secularist dream country, you know. And it is these Hindu fellows who have now come who are ruining India, taking it down the tube. The वो जो परिभाषा है ना, that the definition is only changing.
Yeah.
So that time you found India is not secular. I will show you pieces from the same guys, these Mushahid Hussain and others, so-called secular India in the 70s, 80s, in the 80s and 90s. Today, that so-called secular India was secular
actually
India.
Was actually secular. Now it is not.
No.
Now it has become Hindutva.
So, what I want to say is that if India is to counter a person like Hina Khar or, the others who go on these American networks and all that, who can we do that?
Rakhi Sawant.
So, should we have civil society people, or is it just because many foreign service officials who say that, nahi, hum hi theek hai. We know because we understand foreign policy, so we are the ones who will go on these networks and speak. But we also saw that this track 2 that India used, sending parliamentarians, they were pretty good in what they did. So is it that civil society has a better impact when they go to these channels and they speak in these channels? Do they have that kind, and should
See,
it
it
be
has to be-
continuous process?
Horses for courses. You have to mobilize. It just cannot only be the ministry. It cannot only be the bureaucrats. It cannot only be parliamentarians. When you have to engage with a ecosystem which is so anti-you, to educate them, it has to be done at university level. It has to be done in colleges. Students going abroad. It has to be politicians, ministry, embassies, people who are working there. You have to mobilize, but the first priority is, do we want to do it? Because if we want to do it, then you have to do 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
You can't, हाँ कर लेंगे, एक को delegation भेज दो. It just doesn't work that way.
So I have a
The entire
suggestion.
ecosystem has to be there.
Has to be there.
To protect your narratives.
Yeah.
And to protect your identity. This is a question of identity ultimately. Identity. That your identity is being pilloried as being what she said, belligerent and
Hegemonistic.
Hegemonistic. If you're willing to accept that identity, then don't know anything about it. If you're not willing to accept that identity, then you have to get serious about it.
Okay. So
Yeah, देखो एक हमारी problem
Okay.
है. Earlier he was talking about ना, at one level we are saying we don't care what the Western media say, and then one complimentary article, and you will see government spokespersons
Yeah.
going to town. New York Times has said Modi government is doing a great job in such and such thing. Yaar, if you don't take New York Times seriously and you pillory it when it is always shitting on you,
Yeah.
then why are you taking it seriously when it is praising you? Then don't ignore them completely. So one is that problem. The second is, I think we need to also understand that, look, military officers have a certain training. There are times when you need to put a military officer in the front to for a public outreach. But there are times when a military officer, because of his training, is not equipped to handle the kind of questions that
Sure.
are going to be put to him. So
Yeah.
you need somebody else.
Yeah.
There will be times when you need the diplomats to be fronting for the
Yeah.
country. There will be times when the diplomats should not be fronting because they, again, by their training, by the way they are doing their jobs, there is a certain amount of constriction which comes. They will not see the kind of language I will use, because I've never been in government, is never going to be the language that Mr. Deveshwar will use.
Correct.
Because whether he likes it or not, the 30-40 years he spent in government has, put him in a kind of a box.
Yeah.
Right? So there will not be certain things he will never be comfortable in saying, he will never be able to say it.
Yeah,
which
sure.
I can say it, which you can say it. So you need to understand who is the person who is going to be addressing which audience. You can't have just one person saying, I will do everything. But then you also have people like a Shashi Tharoor, who's brilliantly articulate, or a Manish Tiwari, who
Yeah.
did a fabulous job, right?
Right.
I don't have to agree with their politics.
Yeah, sure.
But when they're batting for India,
Yeah.
they did a damn bloody
Damn
good job.
Everybody, Owaisi also.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
obviously, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
then the government decided in this case this has to be done. So there was a whole of government across, forget parties, forget regions,
And
forget
they
whatever.
all had good briefing
Yeah.
because all of them spoke with facts. They didn't just go and faff them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all spoke with facts, and they spoke to, they spoke to civilians, they spoke to Fauj, they spoke to diplomats, they had a very good interaction. My suggestion, Tilak, correct me if I'm wrong, just UPSC की training होती है, the UPSC guys who clear the exam, they go to media houses, they understand media, they go to IIMC, they go to various places, they understand, they figure out communication, they talk. उनकी skilling होती है before they get into the field, right? Now, if in some way the embassies, the high commissions that we have, when students come every year, like say in America, right? We have consulates and we have the embassy. You just collect, 500 students have several batches because they are our ambassadors. So speak to them, not just Diwali party pe, just
Arey,
call
go
the
to
rich
those
and famous.
20 universities, yaar.
Go to the universities.
Go to the
connect,
universities.
Have
No.
workshops.
See, again, 2-3 things.
Well, maybe universities will not allow it.
This delegation which
The
went
Chinese
out.
do it, mind you.
No, the Indians can always say that, look, we want to talk
Yeah.
to Indian students, and the Indian ambassador there will be an Indian Students Association.
Sure, yeah. Go to the Telugu Association, Andhra Association, all these guys and talk to them.
ज़्यादा
Sure,
शोर
go
मचाएगा,
ahead.
What I
आप
was saying
passport
was,
cancel कर दो, आएंगे ही तुम्हारे पास.
Parliamentarians who went. Why should it be a one shot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They must go again and again. And why shouldn't you use, Shashi Tharoor or Manish
Manish
Tiwari
Tiwari.
to give interviews like this
Yes.
to New York Times, to Washington Post on issues of concern, and do it regularly.
Also, it becomes a
Then,
tough war.
the other
Tilak.
thing is, there's so many Indian students from the neighborhood that come to India.
Yeah.
We don't keep in touch with them once they go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are your constituents. They are the ones who can be your ambassadors in their countries. You have already made constituencies. If somebody were to sit down and do this, the calculations, the kind of constituencies that you have already, which are not being tapped.
Yeah.
And that's the tragedy.
But this is a massive exercise.
Of course.
China does it very well.
Yeah.
Right? And they've been doing it for a long, long time. India hasn't found the need. But today, the situation we are in is a realization that this should have happened 15 years ago.
Yeah, it should
And
have.
at a continuous process.
But I'm glad it has happened today.
I don't
because
know
we
if
are
it has
best in firefighting.
I don't think, yeah.
I don't think it has happened.
No,
I think it's
I'm
still
saying-
very piecemeal
I'm saying
and very
this whole
ad
thing
hoc.
with the US, it's happened. We are very good at firefighting. You watch. Now suddenly people will get up and say, "Arey, we're getting it worse."
नहीं, but
publicity
हम लोग क्या
journalism."
बताए, we get bogged down with, oh, CEC ने press conference कर दिया, oh, बिहार में SIR है, oh, these kind of things. We get down, we are very navel gazing we've become, What Americans are blamed for, हम लोग वैसे हो गए.
This is part and parcel of, a government, and not a government as a political government, a government as the state.
Yeah.
The state
The permanent-
needs to have,
permanent
the permanent
establishment.
establishment needs to have some kind of a system. And you were just talking about turf wars. You have to get around these bloody turf wars. That no, you can't come in because this is only my domain. Arey Baba, if it was your domain, you have not been able to do it, na?
Correct.
So you need to bring in some other
Yeah.
people in, and nobody is taking your job. ठीक है? But the point is that you need to bring in other people. You need to be much more open to, other influences coming
ये
in.
piecemeal lateral entries will
Otherwise-
not do the job.
No. In fact,
वो नहीं हो
this is
सकता
actually
भाई, ऐसे।
a virgin territory. Anybody who can see the potential here and set it up, whether it's in the private sector or government department or whatever, the possibilities and the potential is huge.
And you know
And I'm
what?
sure at some stage returns will be huge too.
It can be public-private partnership too, because at this stage, you realize now, because of this tariffs, that even private enterprises have been hit very badly.
Yeah.
So even the private enterprises should figure out that for them too, it is beneficial to be part of this exercise.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's not just कि हाँ IB ने कर दिया या RAW ने कर दिया या NSA ने कर दिया. No, it's not that. It's even private enterprises
Yeah.
from
Like there has to be
even
a whole of country approach, everybody that look, this is something which we have neglected, because we were so convinced of our own case. We didn't think the need.
yeah.
A country like Pakistan survives only on this, on narratives, false narratives, as they immediately get found out. Now today they're saying that nobody died. The Home Minister's gone on a press conference, Mohsin Naqvi, that Noor Khan base was not even hit.
Yeah.
No, he said it was hit, but there was no damage.
हाँ.
But the damage
यार,
is visible.
satellite pictures
None
हैं.
of the other bases were hit. They were minor. The sheds are destroyed.
Yeah. But this is the narrative which will
तुम
now
no time बार क्यों कर रहे हो to repair that?
Yeah. Nee, now you'll find this is about narrative which will get taken over. Everybody will start saying the same thing.
Yeah.
In 3 months' time, all the textbooks will be changed. Like there's no mention of Gibraltar, Operation Gibraltar, or Grand Slam in Pakistan textbooks.
They declared 71 as a victory.
Yeah.
Then newspapers declared it as a victory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, 50 years later, they are saying this was the greatest victory over non-Muslims.
हाँ, exactly.
So, bhai, 65 maybe you had won.
हाँ.
71 also you had
But
won.
they don't get embarrassed over their
No.
mistakes or their
Thickest-
falsities.
Thickest hide anybody in the world is Pakistani. उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पैंदा. Sorry, it doesn't make no difference.
You don't have to apologize for using Punjabi in this room.
No, but I would have made certain disparaging comments about the region.
That I
एक
leave
तो
to-
आपको तमगा नहीं मिला, उमर चीमा को मिल गया, कमर चीमा
वही
को
मैं
मिल
कह रहा
गया.
his friend,
हाँ, कमर चीमा
मेरा
gets
कोई
a
friend
gallantry
नहीं है.
award यार.
I've given up on them because I realize how treacherous they. The best description of Pakistan came in Mullah Abdul Salam Zaif's book.
Yeah.
That is the
He
classiest
describes-
description.
Okay.
No, he says this is the only people who have 2 tongues in one mouth.
Yikes, not fork tongue, but
Two
no
faces
tongue.
on one head.
Yeah.
2 tongues in one mouth. तो तुमको कुछ बोलेंगे, इनको कुछ बोलेंगे. 2 faces on one head for different audiences. They lie to everybody. They cheat with everybody. They will become Islamic when they want money from the Arabs. They will dump Islam when they want to suck up to the Americans. He has given the most devastating description, not only of Pakistan, but especially of the Punjabi Muslim. It is a classical description of the Punjabi Muslim.
And I can never forget
And
the
his
one line.
duplicity.
They can get milk out of a bull.
They can get milk out of a bull. Yeah. So, the Afghans understand the Pakistani Punjabi. The Indians are the biggest dumb in the world because we get taken, oh ji, sada pra, sadi zameen. Abbe yaar, you people were nothing. You were
Lahore,
you
that-
had a small shop or something and you pretend that as though you were the Walmart of Pakistan. So you came out here, you have, all refugees who came to India have prospered. I would say 90% of them. Maybe
Hard
even
work,
100%.
sheer hard work.
Sheer hard work, sheer great determination. They've all prospered. They have gone into professions and they've made businesses which they
Yeah.
would have never made had India not been partition.
Bombay film industry कितने आ गए थे?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Every person.
Two
But
prime ministers we've had
that
who
stupid
came as
nostalgia
refugees.
which these people have.
Yeah.
So if you're so nostalgic, go back here. Who asked you to come here? No, we used to live in great brotherhood. If there was so much of brotherhood, why did you have to come here? You should have stayed
And
there.
what did the brothers do to you?
Huh?
Yeah.
So these refugees in India constantly pining for Pakistan. Go back, yaar. Nobody asked you to come out here. If you are so pining for Pakistan, go back. There's Sonam Kapoor है ना?
Yeah,
Anil
हम
Kapoor.
पेशावरी हैं.
हम पेशावरी हैं. तो पेशावर में क्यों नहीं रह गए? इधर क्यों आए? ओ नहीं जी, हम जो कराची में थे, तो कराची में रह जाते. The dumbness quotient of these people, Bollywoodias, I'm second. Damn it, you are a
And
10th generation
don't they
Indian
realize
because everything was India.
Yeah.
That
You
calling
idiot.
yourself Pakistani, it's a slur.
हाँ.
She is identifying herself with Pakistan. The dumbness quotient of these Bollywood kids
Yeah.
is like next level stuff, man. It's they are the kind of people who, when you have those those guys who go and ask questions and then you hear really dumb
Vox pop.
Vox pops.
Vox pop, and you really hear dumb answers.
Huh.
These Bollywood kids are like that, yeah.
Yeah.
There was, I remember I did a show where the question was, they were interviewed 4 or 5 Pakistani kids, their answers, and 4 or 5 Indian kids.
Yeah.
It would make you cry
Yeah.
when you hear those Pakistani kids.
Yeah, they're
You know,
all
the
about
kind-
jihad
all about,
and
jihad and violence and how they want to come and kill Hindus and stuff like that. And the Indian kids were so talking about education. Somebody wanted to be a scientist, somebody wanted to be a doctor, wanted to study.
The contrast
The
was
contrast was
striking.
shocking. With children, this is.
But listen, that is reflected in that one statement. The shiny Mercedes will collide against the dumper truck.
Huh.
So shiny Mercedes, I will destroy. You don't want to make your damn dumper truck filled with excrement into something better. You want it to remain a dumper truck filled with shit.
Are you happy with
right?
it? Huh.
You are very happy in living in that shit. But you want to destroy my shiny Mercedes or Ferrari.
Yeah.
That is the attitude of those people.
But-
The problem, I don't have a problem with them. Okay, I have no problem with them because I know that is what they are. I have a problem with my people
Yeah.
who don't understand what kind of idiots you're dealing with.
So it's I think our faults as a society, as parents, that this was not taught. I'll tell you one thing: as a child or as a very young adult, as a child, the first time that the horrors of partition I got struck was Tamas. When we saw Tamas, and I said, "Oh my God!"
This
visually,
happened? This actually happened?
Reading it in a book, Freedom at Midnight or whatever, which I read probably when I was 10 or 9 or 10, when I read that, it doesn't have that kind of effect as watching
Visual.
Tamas.
Yeah.
But then there was no other way to see it. There was nothing that VHS cassettes and aise kuch nahi tha, where you could understand that. And then when I discussed this with some aunts of mine, they turned around and said, "Why watch so much of violence?" Then I realized, oh my God, living in the South, they have not witnessed it, they have not felt
They
it.
shut their minds off it.
They shut their minds and they said, we don't want to know
But you know
it.
what is worse? Forget the people. They had no experience of it.
They didn't experience.
The worst is the people who experience the horrors of partition
Have blocked it out.
They have blocked it off.
Yeah.
Remember that serial?
Hum log.
Hum Log,
Yeah.
in which there is some sort of a riot in Delhi Post, and this man goes back and totally blanks out, and then he faints.
Yeah.
He didn't want to revisit.
But they don't. I've interviewed I.K. Gujral. I tried to get stories about partition to him. Now, their family suffered a lot. I tried speaking about it to him. He just blocks it out. हम station पे सोए थे. And I know for a fact that it was really difficult on that family. You speak to them. I've spoken to members of my family which have gone through this. I spoke to my father-in-law. They had family which came in. They came with horror stories, but they don't talk about it. वो खुरेदने से और दर्द होता है they say. So spoken to so many people. So as a result,
There are some wounds which even time cannot heal.
but Tilak, there is as a nation, we have to tell this. You look at the way Israel tells their stories to generation after
so
generation.
Therefore, this partition
So let me
museum and
give-
this partition thing,
Yeah.
I think is an excellent idea.
Excellent idea.
People must never forget.
But the important thing is not just to make a museum and leave it. The important thing is to
understand that trauma.
To tell people what has happened. And I'll give you an example, sir. When this movie Kashmir Files came. Now, frankly, I think it was a movie made on a very good topic, but I don't care much for the way you make the film. The film craft or the craft is not to my liking. But even then, I took my daughter to see it. I can tell you one thing. She saw the movie for 2 hours. She was stunned. There was complete silence as though she has been struck by lightning. And then after about 2 hours, she asked me, she said, "Dad, did this really happen
See, yeah.
in India?" I said, "No, it was even worse than what is being shown in this film." She said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yes." The point is that these were kids who have never learned about anything. They've never been told it. And if it has been said, that this kind of a genocide took place, it was only in passing. And the problem is that when you start forgetting your history,
Yeah.
you keep repeating the same mistakes of history. So, which is why when we look at Pakistan, we think they're people like us because they're speaking the same kind of language. Okay, they pretend that they're very friendly. These like Najam Sethi and others who come out here and we are brothers and friends and all that. All these buggers, they will pretend that they're very nice and very civilized people, but then somewhere it'll slip out what they actually are. And our problem is that we have not understood it. So we keep making the same mistakes. We keep pretending, oh, this guy is wearing a two-piece suit. He must be a good fellow. Oh, this, how many times have you heard, sir? You must have heard. You know that general, very good guy. He drinks whiskey. Very moderate fellow. I bet just because he drinks whiskey does not mean that he is not a jihadist.
Or the
Yeah,
normal
हमने
Indian
stereotype
reaction.
बोलिए
हुआ है।
विस्की ड्रिंकर्स किताबें साथ लिखते हैं
हाँ,
No, and
Indian
the
whiskey
biggest
drinker and a
example is
Pakistani
हमने
whiskey
stereotype
Indians-
बना लिए हैं।
Indians go to, used to at time, go to Lahore for a cricket match or something. पैसे नहीं लेते, the taxi driver was so nice.
यार घटिया सी अनारकली बाजार था. It was a dumb
You know,
bloody
so
thing.
this is what
Somebody has not
people
taken
have a
10 rupees
reaction
from you.
for
You are
2 days or 3 days.
हाँ.
And I would tell them, भाई हफ्ता रहो,
No.
महीना रहो, you will realize the real.
what the real country is
yes.
and
Yeah.
the people are.
So, he was talking about Najam. Irfan Pathan has gone on a podcast, and in that podcast, Lalan Top ke saath, in which he says that Shahid Afridi came and ruffled his hair like that, and he said, "Aur bache, theek hai?" And he goes and sits, and this is in the plane, and I'm narrating what he said in that. He says he ruffled his head and went and sat in the other seat, and said, "Aur bache, theek hai?" So this guy got irritated. Ki, bhai, tu kaun hai to call me bache just because Pathan, And he has gone on Harsha Bhogle's show to say, I am the real Pathan. He's not. The real Pathan क्यों? क्योंकि तू पाकिस्तान में बैठा है तो तू real Pathan. इरफान इंडिया में बैठा है तो वो पठान नहीं. You know that?
और ये वो भी कराची का है.
हाँ. So they don't see that. Anyway, so he's ruffled his head and sat down. So Irfan turned and asked this other cricketer who's sitting next to him and says, यहाँ पे गोश्त मिलता है? So he said, हाँ मिलता है. So, किस किस्म का गोश्त मिलता है? So he said, बकरे का, इसका, उसका. He said all that. So he's saying, कुत्ते का गोश्त मिलता है? So he said, क्या बोल रहे हो तुम? He says, लगता है वो कुत्ते का गोश्त करके इसलिए भौंके जा रहा है. So, you needed a Pathan to, he says कि ये लोग समझते हैं कि the Indian Muslim
सारी दुनिया के मुसलमानों का ठेका इन्होंने ले रखा है.
So first you look down upon the Indian Muslim and then you think that, I have taken theka of the Indian Muslim. Javed Akhtar also said that when he went to Pakistan,
Yeah, in fact, what a retort he gave.
he said he went to Pakistan and he was expected to diss his own country
yeah.
because he's a Muslim. So there's some kind of a kinship. So they expect you to say something against India.
And any Muslim who doesn't shit on India, Indian Muslim, is a Sarkari Muslim.
हाँ.
He is not supposed to be a Muslim in the true sense.
But it doesn't
It is
sound-
only when you hate India,
हाँ.
if you are the Dawn correspondent out here, or you are some other correspondent out here, and you
Al Jazeera.
dump on India,
Yeah.
then you are a good Muslim.
हाँ.
Otherwise, you are a Sarkari Muslim.
हाँ.
So there is this huge thing which these Pakistanis have.
But a person like Shazia and all that, when she goes to New York, literally they boo her out because she's a Muslim and she speaks for the BJP. And she gets booed out because of that. And you're seeing so many Muslims, even Owaisi, he's called a Sarkari Muslim in many respects, just because he speaks for India. That's the sad part.
You see, because they can't make the connection that you can be pro-India and yet anti-government.
Why do you not have two cells of brain in your head?
No, they don't.
No, because in Pakistan, opposition
they had,
means
why would they
Gaddari.
make Pakistan?
Opposition means Gaddari. They can't fathom that how can a person be pro-India and yet be opposed to the government can have a point of view. And this is accepted, is tolerated because we are a democracy. In Pakistan, if you are not pro-Imran Khan, then for Imran Khan, you are a Gaddar. Likewise, is for Shehbaz Sharif.
Yeah.
They just can't make this
No,
distinction. That how are you like that?
A guy like Owaisi, whose politics I don't agree with out here, and I will probably go hammer and tongs at his politics because I don't identify with it.
Yeah,
okay. But when the guy stands up for the country, I admire him for it, and I say, okay, fine. Now, I can make that distinction
Yeah.
between opposing him politically,
Sure.
but supporting him when he's standing up for a national cause, and I give him the fact that you are entitled to your own politics.
Yeah.
The Pakistani mind, maybe it's
Cannot differentiate
Cannot
that.
differentiate that.
I think it's coarse grains or
इतना
something which
evolved
they
नहीं
eat.
है Pakistani brain. But you know,
Because they are just taught black and white.
हाँ,
They are literally taught black and white.
हाँ,
You can't have any shades of grey in between this subtlety that नहीं है उनमें.
हाँ. But I can't tell you, Tilak, I can't tell you, Sushant, how many times a day I probably thank the Lord that by freak of birth or whatever, I was born on this side of the border. Can you imagine
man.
if you
You were still lucky that you came
Being
from
from-
down south. Okay. For us, it's very lucky that our parent, at least my parents, are from Amritsar, so I don't have any of that refugee baggage.
Huh.
Even yours,
Jalandhar, yeah.
Jalandhar, so
Jalandhar.
he also doesn't have a refugee bag. In fact, they've sent a lot of refugees out there,
Refugees. Who have done very well in Pakistan.
And their lot, these Jalandharis, from Ziaul Haq to Asim Munir.
Yeah.
Right? They are from his
They
backyard.
have ruined the country.
So these are the guys who we need to blame. People like Tilak Deveshwar and the
उसमें
Muslim
पानी में
counterparts.
कुछ था.
Jalandhar के पानी में.
Jalandhar.
हाँ.
Dwaba है ना,
Shihadar.
Byas and Satluj.
Huh. Oh yes, okay.
Yeah.
Is there a difference?
Yeah, big
in
difference.
In the people who are in this
You
Doabe
see, in
area.
Punjab itself, you have the Dwaba, then you have the Maja, and you have the
Malwa.
Malwa. The three distinct reasons,
Correct.
language changes.
Yes.
So Dwaba is the
Attitude
sweetest.
change.
Sweetest language.
Dwaba is the sweetest, but he just told us the problem.
Their contribution to the destruction of the subcontinent is Ziaul Haq and Asim Munir.
नवाज शरीफ कितने हैं? नहीं वो तो सिमलेदा है.
Amritsar.
अमृतसर.
But basically he claims Kashmiri descent, but Amritsar.
So even in Pakistan, you have Potohar, Rawalpindi and all. Then you have central Lahore, and you have the south Seraiki. So they have also three
So the
different.
plateaus and the plains.
Yeah.
वो है फर्क?
Farak, and also otherwise, the
In terms of
language
the
changes.
terrain,
Yeah.
the terrain in that part,
Huh.
But this is the sweetest,
Rawalpindi and all.
Byas and Satluj Dwab.
I don't think
Yes,
so,
yes,
but
it is.
anyway,
They insist.
I will grant you that
They
at,
insist.
at this stage, But anyway, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Tilak, and to Sushant as always. Thank
Thank you so much. Thank you
Thanks.
for having
Thank you.
us.
Thank you for watching or listening to this edition of the NI podcast with Smita Prakash. Do like or subscribe on whichever channel you have seen this or heard this. Namaste, Jai Hind. Click here to watch the previous episodes.